Welcome to the Mount Sinai Legend Circle podcast, produced and hosted by Talent Development and Learning. In this series, we interview colleagues who have worked at the Mount Sinai Health System for more than 40 years. Each interview gives us a glimpse into the history and evolution of life at Mount Sinai through the unique personal stories and experiences of our longest-serving employees. We hope you enjoy the inspiring stories of their legendary Mount Sinai careers.
Welcome to the Mount Sinai Legends Circle podcast. I'm Steve Fecta with my talent development and learning colleagues Alyssa Gianandrea and Michael Joseph. Today, we have the pleasure to speak with Michael Agosto from the Department of Biomedical Engineering, who's actually celebrating 45 years of service at the Mount Sinai Hospital. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you so much. Hello to everyone.
So first off, I want to go right into allowing you to talk a little bit about yourself and the work that you do here. Biomedical engineering, have you been there the entire time? Tell us about the work that you do today.
No, I actually started in 78, but I took a short leave. I came back in 80, and when I was firstly employed, I was a student, and I was in the Department of Transportation, transporting patients back and forth. 2 years after that, someone asked me, how I like working with equipment. And I was always a grease monkey. So I said, sure, what do you need me to fix? And they said, can you fix these suction pumps? I said, sure, I got into it, got my hands dirty. And they said, well, how would you like to join the Department of, Biomed? What is Biomed? I said, well, at that time, 1980, I says, we deliver pumps and we help the nursing staff, with various things. I said, sure. So that was the beginning of my career, which I did not know was going to become a career. To me, it was just a transfer into another department. And then a few years into Biomed, I took a big interest in what they were doing. It was more than just fixing pumps. It was maintaining life-saving equipment. Like, wow, And when I saw the responsibility that each technician had in helping the nursing staff care for patients, I went back to school and I got my degree in electronics. Thereafter, Mount Sinai started sending me to various courses for various machines, like, defibrillators, heart monitoring systems, OR tables, I'm so vast in so many different, pieces of equipment. Yes, I've grown with Mount Sinai. Yes. Mount Sinai has helped me grow.
I really want to hear more about clinical engineering, biomedical engineering, a couple of different names for it, and your experience there. But, you're taking us back to 1980. Did you ever see for yourself a milestone like this? How does it feel to hit 45 years at Mount Sinai?
I just can't believe it's been that long. I've always tell people, once you love what you do, you're no longer working. It's not a job. It becomes a passion. It becomes enjoyable. And Mount Sinai has given me that opportunity to feel this way, because I really do like what I do. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. We talk a lot about, having that sense of purpose in the work you do, and you've already kind of alluded to that in your work. This is not fixing a pump. This is maintaining this life-saving equipment. Can you tell us more about that sense of purpose that comes into what you do every day through your work and how you connect it to that patient?
Well, it's funny you say that, because one of the things that really get gratitude from is that many times I have to enter a patient's room. And when I walk in, the look of fear on their face that I see, who are you? What are you going to do to me? I quickly introduce myself and I tell them, I'm not here to disturb you. I'm here to make sure that all the equipment here is working well and that you're going to be okay. The look of relief that I see on their faces, it's like, oh, and also the family members, And then I said to them, I was a patient here. My mother was a patient here. My father's a patient here. You're in the best hands. You're going to be okay. We're going to make sure of that. And the thanks that I get from the patient and the family members is a good feeling and what makes me feel proud, just making them feel secure. And then I hope that everything's okay because I'm not a doctor, but, I do maintain all the equipment that the doctors need to make the good assessments.
But for you to come in and to tell the patient that there's someone here looking out for you to ensure that the equipment is safe is so very reassuring.
Yes.
And you start by introducing yourself and saying that. As you're saying, they have a sense of relief. I can feel that.
Yeah, yes, I take pride in that, and I mentor everyone, on my staff. This is how you're supposed to enter a room. These people, and I'm speaking from personal experience. These people don't know who you are and what you're going to do. And once you give them that reassurance, you're helping them recover quickly.
That's excellent. I'd love to hear more about biomedical engineering and helping anyone who's listening, in our audience to really better understand, this is a new department to me. I hadn't thought about, the equipment, who's maintaining it, safety. What do people not know about the work that's done in your department and that you've been doing for so long?
Biomed actually today is the pillar of Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai, when I get funded by the states or by all the other federal governments, we actually help Mount Sinai pass all its safety issues. When OSHA comes in or when JACO comes in and they're inspecting everything, Biomed is responsible for that happening. We're also in charge of all life-saving equipment, defibrillators, monitors, EKGs, OR tables, the robots, dialysis machines. We're all over the hospital. Biomed is in charge of life-saving equipment, and a lot of people don't know that. Like I said, we get calls sometimes for, things that don't pertain to us. The toilet's stopped, there's too much heat, or it's too cold in this room. And I laugh because they think bioclinical engineering that we fix everything.
Wrong engineering.
Yeah. So I have to defer them. Say, no, you want engineering, with clinical engineering. And I have to explain to them exactly what it is, And
it sounds like sometimes it's, planned and you have the time to, equipment comes and you're working on it and you're making sure it's safe and effective. And are there other emergency cases where you're running out the door to ensure a piece of equipment is?
Oh, yeah. I've been called into the OR in emergency situations where the OR table, it's not functioning the way it's supposed to, and doctors need it to be at a certain angle, And a few times I have been underneath the table while they're performing surgery, and I'm troubleshooting the table because I'm certified in that, and to get it working. There's been a few times. It's a little gross, because you don't expect to be underneath a table while they're performing surgery above your head.
Right.
But these are certain situations where it's an emergency situation, and I have to respond. I have to gown up. I have to go in there. Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Wild.
Your job is the definition of agility.
Agility.
Not anxiety, because you say, "Oh my God," because doctors panic, nurses panic. That's when you really realize, that you're in a real situation here. Because if they're panicking above and I'm underneath, they're blaming me. Get this thing working, blah, 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 get this thing working. We need it working right now. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing it.
Right. And it sounds like the success rate is pretty high with you.
Yeah. Well, I do my best, and not for nothing, but I am one of the senior biomedical technicians. I've come a long way from being a transporter and fixing pumps to being, one of the top guys in my department. And we have a few. It's not just me. We have about 18 guys.
Yep.
And they're all very, very good. And what I love about my department is that, no one is 100% knowledgeable in every piece of equipment. Sometimes we have to, rely on each other. Listen, I forgot how to do this. Remind me, or I've never done this before. How do you fix it? And that's what I love about my department. Right? We're all one big team, okay? And when I go out, I know I'm not just going out by myself. I can pick up the phone. Listen, we got a problem up here, and 5 or 6 guys will come upstairs. Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
And then be assured that if they call biomed, that's another thing. That's another thing. When they call biomed, we respond within 2 to 3 minutes.
Wow.
We don't wait an hour, 2 hours. No, no. We may go up there and go, oh my God, this is not an emergency, but we're there.
You
You
have to
respond quickly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So
Yeah,
we'll
the look
you
we
first.
get on nurses' faces or doctors' faces, or it's like, oh, thank God, biomed is here.
Yeah.
Mm. Wonderful.
So, well, it's enlightened all of us on the work that you do and just how important and special it
It
is.
really has.
It really is, yeah. But so now let's go back to your full career. Take us back to you personally. What was life like 1980 or 1978
You
when
don't
you
believe
started
that
here? What brought you here?
I was actually a very bad student in high school, and they wanted to get rid of me. So Mount Sinai had a program, that would take troubled students and see if they can, become something. So I guess Mount Sinai reached out to my high school, and they referred me and accepted me into the program. And I progressed. Back then, 1980, believe it or not, everyone was smoking in the hospital. Cigarettes in patients' rooms. I mean,
In
when
the
I think about
patient
it
room.
now, with the
Oh my
oxygen
God.
and everything, back
Isn't
then it
that
wasn't an
wild?
issue. Back then it's just like, wow,
Well, who are we talking about? The
We
nursing
have come such
staff
a long
themselves,
we're
the
way.
talking
patients,
about everyone.
everyone.
It was
Can't make it
my
up.
directors were smoking cigars in engineering. Yes, and patients were smoking in the rooms, and their family members. Back then it wasn't.
It was a
wasn't,
party.
it wasn't a big thing.
Party.
But now when you look back, you say, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
what were we thinking?"
We probably
You
had
know?
Mount Sinai logoed ashtrays in all the patient rooms.
Yeah, yeah. And also, funny thing was that it was back in the 1980. I remember when I was working for transportation, and we were wearing blue jackets with a crest on it. I don't know what kind of crest it was, but it was a crest, and white gloves. White gloves.
God.
Yeah, to transport patients.
Wow.
That's how pretty it was. And I used to run an elevator, and all the elevators were so old that they had gates. You remember the elevators
Yeah,
had gates?
Yeah.
And they used to, you have to turn the leveler to go up and
Uh-huh.
down.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, that's how old it was. When I see, the way things are today, and I look back, I go, wow.
And that was a patient elevator. You'd be transporting the patient, bring them in, pull the gate,
Oh my God,
turn the
yes.
lever.
Where GP is now, we have 4 different buildings.
Mhm.
We had the Metzger building, which was in the middle, and had this beautiful staircase. We had Folk Pavilion, which was all pediatrics. We had Hausman, which was for the hyperbaric chambers, and we had the surgical building. So when I think about those buildings and how they came down to build this new structure, I kind of get a little mystic.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
I imagine you're good friends with a lot of the 40 plus.
Yeah,
group.
yeah. We look at each other, we hug each other when we see each other in the corridors, and the big question we always ask each other: when are you going to retire? When? How long do you have? And then I laugh. I says to them, me? No, listen, my daughter was born here.
Mhm.
Okay, my daughter now works here. My daughter's working on her 2nd degree in neuroscience. I'm going to be here too, until she can support me. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to retire. I mean, I'll probably be doing more of these podcasts for 50, 55.
I hope so.
If I survive, because I do a lot of activities that, are very risky. I'm 65 years old now. I still ride motorcycles.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I built hot rods in my garage. I raced them,
Wow.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
So like I said, I've always been a grease monkey.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
so I have a lot of activities and I keep myself busy,
Great.
So you were always very mechanical. So
Yes.
Since you were a kid, you were always
Since I was a kid,
hands-on.
I started off, I think I was 12 years old. I started with bicycles and, making them choppers. And then I went to mini bikes, and then I went to go-karts. So, and then from the
Wow.
go-karts, I went to hot rods. I actually owned my own car by the time I was 14 years old.
Oh my God.
14 years old. Oh, you don't know how many times I got stopped. How many times they took away my license. I was really bad.
I mean, it's just beautiful to hear you give your, personal story mixed with your career story, to see that you had this talent and that you just kind of
Yeah.
serendipitously came to Mount Sinai and ended up here and found a role where your talents can save lives and make such an impact and is so connected to a powerful purpose. It's amazing
Yeah,
that
I,
worked out
I,
for you.
I feel very, very lucky and honored to be part of Mount Sinai and the great team that we are.
It's great. It's great. I just love these stories. I'm sure we could go on and on. If we were to kind of summarize, if you reflect on your own career, when you sit down at the end of a long day and you reflect on, the difference you've made in people's lives, like what does your heart go back to, your mind go back to, of like that really gives you that sense of gratitude and purpose in the work that you've done here?
Mount Sinai had many different programs. There was a program where Mount Sinai would ask me to mentor a person that was in a very bad accident.
Mm.
Like they lost their memory or their body functions weren't working well and everything. And after the program was over, and maybe a year or two may have passed, and those students would come back and look for me, and and I could tell in their faces that I made a difference for them. That really sinks in for me. I really, really take pride in that. Also, like I said, when I walk into a room and I make the patients feel at ease and the family feel at ease, that brings me a lot of gratitude.
Yeah.
It does. So Mount Sinai has helped me grow from a troubled student into the man I am today. Yes. And I want to thank Mount Sinai because everything that I have here today is because of Mount Sinai. And I express that to all the young kids. It says, you're very lucky to be here. Between, the knowledge that you gather from here or the help that Mount Sinai, can help you with. Mount Sinai have many different programs, A lot of places don't offer these opportunities. Take advantage of them. You can be anything you want to be, anything. I mean, it doesn't even have to be medical. If you want to be a plumber, go to a plumbing shop. You want to learn electricity? There's electricity. You want to, you want to be a painter? There's painting.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be a nurse, an assistant. I mean, just the field is all so open.
Yeah.
Let your imagination go crazy, but don't let it go by.
I would have to imagine in your work, you're constantly learning as technology changes and the equipment
Yes.
is improving and getting better, that you are, talk to me about your own growth and learning and how you keep up on all the new equipment that comes through each year.
Well, Mount Sinai is constantly upgrading their equipment. So sometimes when I go walk up on the floors and they say, oh, this broke down. And I look at it, I'm like, where did you get this from? How, what is it?
What is this?
Yes. So they're like, we don't know. Somebody else purchased it, but can you fix it? I said, I have to go and do my research, okay, and learn exactly, very quickly, okay, what's it for, how to use it, and how to repair it. And if I can't, how to find help to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And all that comes down to a big learning process. So I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly, evolving, keeping up. It all boils down to making the patients feel comfortable and secure. Because without that, mentally, somebody can just give up because, if you walk in there, go, I don't know what I'm doing, and you run out. What is that? Imagine, if a doctor said that to you and you're laying there, like,
right.
Oh my God. But they don't know. Patients and the family members don't know what we do, But when I explain to them, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, and they feel secure. And so it all comes down to, state of mind. But yeah, I'm constantly learning.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful example of a we find a way in your role, our brand promise. You're right. You can't show up. You're like, what is this? I've never seen this before. Like, I have to, doesn't matter. I'm going to find a way. I will get this.
Yes.
I will get this working.
Yes, yeah, but I don't say that in front of my patients, my patients.
Yes.
I mean, the patients, I walk in there and I go, okay, yes, well, let me get right back to you. Don't worry about it. You're in good hands. I'll be right back, just like that. You know, you don't have to tell them like, oh no, we're in big trouble now.
Last thing any patient feels like
You
hearing.
don't want to hear that.
Oh,
We're in
geez.
big trouble now. I'm going home.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. Well, Michael, this has been a lot of fun. You know, what haven't we talked about? What would you like to say to anyone listening about your work and your career and your
To sum it all up, you know, congratulations to everyone who's, you know, made milestones. Okay. And for the newly employees, stick with it, grow with it. Okay. Make a career out of it. Become something that you enjoy, and you'll never work another day in your life. That's what I would say.
absolute pleasure. Michael Agosto, everyone, thanks for listening. Thank you for sharing your story.
Great.
Have a wonderful day and a wonderful 45th and 46th and 47th year.
Whatever. You as well, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for all
guys.
you do for Mount
Bye-bye.
Sinai.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
This has been the Mount Sinai Legends Circle podcast, produced and hosted by Talent Development Learning. We'll see you next time.